Hello class, I'm making a screencast today on the 25th, so this is officially our first day of class. This class is considered asynchronous. In other words, we will not have Zoom meetings for this class, which is part of the reason why I'm making this screencast, because some of this stuff is kind of hard to just describe if you're looking at the syllabus, at the homepage in and of itself. So what I will do is send this as a link in our when I email it to you, just to kind of get you started. Okay, so here we're looking at work that we'll be doing for the so-called second week of class. Okay, so I'm going to go over that really quick here, but before I do that, I want to just look at this first announcement that we have. So here we are at our homepage. Okay, and notice that we have this Welcome to Ethics Spring 21 first. Right after it, we have Human Morality Nature. That's the second week. Know, though, that the announcements will only do the latest. So I rearranged this so that this appears after the first, just because after the first announcement, because I wanted it to be just slightly less confusing for you, because I know all this stuff can be kind of confusing. Okay, so usually in the announcements, the latest announcement will appear first, which basically translates to the most recent week that I post will be first. Okay, and so all this stuff will fall down to the bottom of the announcements. And if you ever want to look at all the announcements, don't forget to click on this, and that'll show you all the announcements so far. Right now, we don't have enough that there's so many that they're all falling to the bottom, but they will as we progress through the semester. Okay. Then another thing to keep track of too is, of course, make sure that you watch all of these. Okay. These screencasts, my video, make sure you read this, make sure that you pay attention to these. This is key here because I'm asking you to email me answers to this by January 27th. Okay, so complete the discussion, and that needs to be done by February 1st. Okay, so do that. So that's a little different than this stuff. Do that. Then send me an email with an answer for these questions. Okay, I will send you a reply back, and then you submit something into Dropbox here after you hear my reply, after the 27th. Okay, and that is located here. Let me make sure I have this on student view so you see that clearly. So that when I click on it, there we go. So that when we click on it, it appears as it appears to you. So let's go down here. When we go to that assignment is what's termed Dropbox, and that's right here. Okay, so it's essentially the same thing, except the difference is that you're sending me an email before the 27th, before 11:30 p.m. on the 27th. Okay, and then after you receive a reply from me, then you will submit a file here. Okay, add file, submit. Okay, and remember too, I'm going to say this one more time, that once you do that, don't forget that right here there will be a feedback that you must read as well, even after you've received the email feedback. Okay, because that will give you some more indication of how well you did. Okay, and then another thing to keep in mind is, and I say this in one of the other screencasts, but I'm just going to say it one more time. This is considered email here, so don't send me an email via my Outlook account. I want you to send me an internal message here by way of D2L. Okay, and the easiest way to do that is hit class list. So I have this in another screencast, but I want to make sure you have it. That's why I'm repeating it. And I'm right here click on my name, send email, okay? And then take it from there. That's what I mean by sending email. Let's see. Now, with this second week here, this is also something that is on Hume, Morality, Nature for our ethics class. So I want you to read this. And then also I want you to answer these questions. But I have this divided into two parts, okay? So let's look at our discussion here. I don't have those linked. I will link that to our discussion. But if you ever notice those links are broken or there's not a link, always go up here. Assignments are in Dropbox. Discussions are obviously in discussions. I have it in the discussion here. Right here, okay? So in other words, you're going to post an answer, a 200-word answer for this in your first part that will be due February 3rd. And then in the last part, you will, after you hear my reply, then repost it after you've made the corrections, okay? And then you'll receive a grade, okay? And the way you start a thread is by, I think you click on this, and right here you have start a new thread. Start a new thread. Make sure that you hit a subject line and write. You could always copy and paste something in this, okay? And then down here, I think you could see the post button that you would hit, okay? Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to tell you. Before you write, always remember, I think I mentioned this in another video, always remember to read all of this beforehand, okay? Oh, and another thing too I've discovered is if you hit table of contents here, this right here under our content tab, if you hit table of contents, this will give you all of this listed. So there's our first week right there. There's our second week. There's our third week. So in other words, I have kind of a little schedule here when things are due, okay? And as you can see, we have stuff in week 2. We have our discussions linked. And always know that this is kind of a more abbreviated version of what I have in the announcements, but I have more or less the same thing, okay? So don't forget that these assignments here, I'm kind of dividing in half, so kind of just think of it as these 2-part assignments, okay? Basically where you're showing me your work first, and then I'm telling you what we could do to improve, or telling you that you're doing a great job, anything like that, okay? And so I think that might help. So don't forget to read all of this, listen to all this stuff here now on our first day. Remember that this is our second week here. It'll always appear as the first item. In other words, the latest announcement will be the first item in those announcements, and that could get confusing. But if you ever get confused with the way that's appearing, like I say, go to content here, click on that, click on table of contents, and that'll give you a straightforward way that this is working. As you can see, that's that writing criteria, week 1, week 2, and so forth, okay? So that should help you with just getting started, okay? So don't forget that these first parts also have, if I haven't said it already, have the, yes I have the 2 parts as well to it, that in other words you're answering these questions, etc. Okay, so I think that's good. Why don't we just take it from there, and I think that this screencast should help you a lot, okay? And again, do not hesitate even with each of these assignments. If you have any questions about these particular questions, don't hesitate to email me asking your question as specifically as possible, okay? And I'll be happy to reply. So, okay, and when I mean email, don't forget it's always D2L email, not Outlook, okay? So I think that's it. Don't hesitate to ask questions, and welcome to ethics class at CCA.